Hey everyone, how ya doing? It is me, Tim. Going to be reading How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who just lived north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his grave with a sorrow grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings. He snarled with a sneer, "Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here." Now he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, "I must find a way to stop Christmas from coming, for tomorrow," he knew. All the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They rushed for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they feast, and they feast, and they feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They stand hand in hand, and the Who would start singing. They sing, and they sing, and they sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 33 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat, and he chuckled and chucked. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scared there were none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he caught his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, Giddy that! And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark. White snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care when he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1, the old Grinch Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fire flue, where the little Who stockings were hung in a row. Those stockings were grind, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present: pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums, and he stuffed them in the bag. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox, and he took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quickly as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with a glee. And now, grin, the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove, when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and saw a little Who. Little Cindy Lou who was more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this teeny Who daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know that the old Grinch was too smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot? The fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there. Then I'll bring it back here." And his fab fooled the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went up the chimney and stuck the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log of their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their wall he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to other Who houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who mouses. It was quite a quarter past dawn. All the Who's still a bed. All the Who's still a snooze. When he packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsels, the trimmings, and the trappings. "3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crampit, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh, pooh, to the Who's. He was grinchily humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo!" "There's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Grinch put his head to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry very. He started down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He couldn't stop Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in snow, stood puzzled and puzzled. How could it be? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till the puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, didn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite as so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. Well, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed the story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And if you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with anyone that you know that has little ones that might enjoy a story time. And I want to say thanks for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. And vlog is over.